Wasteland by T.S Elliot. So to start us off, I'll provide a brief analysis on the poem, which is up to 172 lines, and I'll discuss the parallels and literary lines, as well as the literary devices that they have in The Wars by Timothy Finley. So in the first 172 lines, The Wasteland presents a fragmented and disoriented world that reflects the disillusionment and spiritual crisis of the post-World War I. The poem opens with the famous line that April is the cruelest month, juxtaposing traditional notions of rebirth and rejuvenation with a sense of desolation and decay. Eliot employs various literary devices such as allusion, symbolism, and juxtaposition to convey the fractured state of modern society. The image of the unreal city invokes a sense of urban decay and alienation, while the reference of myth, religion, and history create a collage of voices that mirror the fractured nature of the contemporary world. The poem incorporates snippets of languages, religious text, and cultural references, emphasizing the disintegration of meaning and the difficulty of communication. So moving on to the parallels of The Wars by Timothy Finley, the fragmented narrative style and the exploration of disillusionment in The Wasteland can be paralleled with the postmodern literary lens found in The Wars. Just as The Wasteland reflects the shattered worldview after World War I, The Wars examines the effect of World War I on individuals and society, highlighting themes of disillusionment and the loss of innocence. In terms of literary devices, both works utilize symbolism to convey deeper meanings in the wars. The symbolism of the horses represent innocence and vulnerability, much like the symbolic imagery in The Wasteland, conveys the fractured state of contemporary existence. Moreover, both works explore the theme of breakdown of communication in The Wasteland. The use of multiple voices and languages reflect the difficulty of connecting in a disoriented world. Similarly, The Wars portrays the breakdown of communication between soldiers, their families, and the society due to the traumatic effect of war. Overall, both The Wasteland and The Wars engage the postmodern literary elements, employ symbolism to convey complex themes, and depict the impact of war on individuals and societies. This parallel highlights how different works from different periods can share thematic and stylistic concerns while addressing the unique context of their time. Let us delve into the literary devices in the poem. To start us off, we have allusion. Eliot extensively employs allusions to various mythologies, religious texts, literature, and historical events. For instance, in the opening lines, April is the cruelest month, he alludes to Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, where April symbolizes rebirth and renewal. But in the modern text, it takes on a negative connotation. Next up, we have imagery. Vivid imagery is present throughout the poem. In a heap of broken images where the sun beats, Eliot paints a picture of a desolate and fragmented world, mirroring the post-World War I disillusionment. Juxtaposition. Eliot juxtaposes contrasting images and ideas to highlight the dissonance of the modern world. The lines, "I will show you fear in a handful of dust," juxtapose fear and insignificance, emphasizing the theme of despair in the poem. Symbolism. The poem is rich in symbolism. The unreal city in the opening lines symbolize the spiritual emptiness and decadence of urban life. The crowds of people walking around in a ring symbolize the repetitiveness and lack of direction in contemporary society. Irony. Irony is used to critique societal norms and values. The hyacinth girl in the Game of Chess section is ironically described as neither living nor dead, emphasizing the numbness and detachment of the characters from their emotions. We have fragmentation. The poem is structured fragmentarily, with different voices and perspectives weaving through it. This fragmentation reflects the fractured state of the world and the character's consciousness. For instance, the abrupt shifts between speakers and setting create a disorienting effect. So we're gonna move on to the parallel lines of the poem and the wars. So to start us off, we're going to do disillusionment and fragmentation. Both works explore the disillusionment and fragmentation of their respective eras. The wars delve into the disillusionment caused by World War One, while The Wasteland portrays the fragmented state of post-war society. In the wars, the characters grapple with the shattered ideals and loss of innocence. Resulting from the war in The Wasteland, the poem's fragmented structure and disjointed voices mirror the fractured psyche of the modern world. Moving on, we have the loss of innocence. Both works touch on the theme of loss of innocence in the wars. The characters, particularly Robert Ross, experience a loss of innocence due to their exposure to the brutal realities of war. Similarly, The Wasteland alludes to a loss of innocence and purity through various references to mythology and history. Effects of war. The War and The Wasteland both examine the profound impact of war on individuals and society. The wars explicitly depicts the physical and emotional toll of war on soldiers and their loved ones. In The Wasteland, war's effects are metaphorically represented through imagery of destruction and decay. Disrupted communication. Both works highlight the breakdown of effective communication in the face of trauma. In the wars, soldiers struggle to convey their experiences to civilians who cannot comprehend the horrors they've witnessed. Similarly, The Wasteland features disjointed voices and fragmented conversations, illustrating the difficulty of understanding in a disoriented world. Symbolism plays a significant role in both works. The wars hosts symbolism, innocence, vulnerability, and destruction. In The Wasteland, various symbols like the Unreal City and the Hyacinth Girl represent the disillusionment and decay of urban life and human connections. Critique of society. Both works offer a critical view of society. The wars critique societal norms and perceptions surrounding war, heroism, and masculinity. The Wasteland presents a scathing critique of the spiritual emptiness, materialism, and decay in modern urban society. Structural complexity. Both works employ complex narrative structures. The Wars uses a non-linear narrative to reflect the disjointed memories and experiences of the characters. The Wasteland features a fragmented structure with multiple voices and perspective, symbolizing the fractured consciousness of the era. Lastly, we have cultural references. Both works are rich in cultural reference. The Wars reference historical events and societal expectations of the time. The Wasteland includes allusion to literature, mythology, and religion, reflecting the complex interplay of cultural influences in the post-war period. In conclusion, our exploration of the wars by Timothy Findley and The Wasteland by T.S. Elliot has revealed remarkable parallels between these two works that span different genres and mediums. Both pieces of the art emerged from the aftermath of World War I, reflecting the disillusionment, fragmentation, and loss of innocence experienced by individuals and societies. Through the complex literary devices such as imagery, symbolism, and structured complexities, both authors delve into the complexities of human experience during hectic times.